Hello and welcome to another sketchbook video. We are currently 3 pages away from finally finishing this entire sketchbook, so we are gonna calmly enjoy the final process of sorting this out. Today I'm using a reference I took in the Lake District just from the car window. So we have some rolling hills and some low-level mountains up above. Didn't want anything complex, I just wanted to have fun, take my time as I try to figure out what are my next steps for my next sketchbook. Last night I did make a plan of what I'm going to be doing for possibly the next 3 months, because honestly for the past few weeks trying to fill this sketchbook I've been quite aimless and I've not had any real direction in what I was doing. I'm kind of in that mood now where I really want a fresh start with things. So all I'm going to do is just lock in some memories in this sketchbook, and then we will have a fresh start with everything. So past this, my plan for the next 3 months I think is going to be around world building with Solis. I've now pretty much got my designated days of today's Sunday, and this is where I'll film a YouTube video. Tuesday evenings are for Twitch, and that could be either carrying on with a final piece that will be sellable or cracking on with some more concepts and ideas in the sketchbook. But the big change I want to do, I want to actually draw in my sketchbook every day. In a perfect world, I'd be doing painting practice. I wish to crack out as much work as possible. The more work I do, the more ideas that I have, the more things I can work with. I know for a fact I've been too scared to work on any final pieces. I think one of the main things that has been holding me back from doing anything like that is this sketchbook. I keep falling into the trap of I go to stream and I'm I don't know what to do, I don't know what to work on, nothing's been prepped. And I very much wish to change that. I think, like I said in a previous video, with the baby being nearly 1 years old now, things are so much easier, got a lot more stability in our life. So now I do have the time to focus on this kind of stuff again, which very much helps my brain. I use these times to mentally switch off and use my brain in a different way. I'm not having to be 20 steps ahead of what I'm going to be doing for the baby, stressing about nap times, stressing about food. It's just me, work and exploration. So an added thing as part of the plan, I'm going to spend the first few months coming up with general practice ideas and getting better with certain techniques, certain mediums, getting better at how to paint certain elements and textures. And then when it comes to October, that's where the storytelling starts to ramp up. I think I have a method of how to get the ideas out of my head. So over the next few weeks I'm going to do little trial runs, because I think one of the weakest things for me is my storytelling. I know how to make a pretty picture, but the whole point of illustration is to be able to tell the story. And sometimes I can, but it still doesn't come very naturally and I need a lot of practice. That's the biggest thing I want to work on. Then we can slowly chip away at making the book that I've always wanted to make. And once I've got the first book done, we can make another and then another. I think one of the overarching themes I'm trying to do right now is just create as much work as possible. Feel productive for all the lost time I feel for being a mom. Here's the question: does the initial sketch feel finished? I'm keeping it nice and simple, so this should be fine. Funnily enough, I have not used washi tape in ages. Now I've got some slightly older stuff in some very odd patterns, so we're going to give this a go to see if we can get some nice tight lines again when we peel this off for the paint. Some people have absolutely extensive, beautiful washi tape collections, which is fine for a sketchbook, but for actual paintings, this stuff never works for me, and I need to use frog tape every single time. Even artist tape, I can't seem to get the hang of. It's probably some massive user error on my part there. These over. So I think what I'll do with mediums today, I'm going to start off using some Watercolour paints, and then we'll move on to the jelly gouache for more opaque tones. The standard at this point, but that will all switch up when I change to a new sketchbook. So let's get ready for some paint. It goes without saying, Caesar, you join us at the most annoying times. Would you like another sketchbook as a distraction to sit on? Here, come to this one. I've been mean, I've kicked him out the room. I can see a little part where the tape is lifting. But it's fine, we're going to live with it. Who needs a really satisfying tape reveal? Now I have some yellow over here, so I'm going to be activating this and using this initially for the main colour of the background. The only thing we won't be doing is touching the sky. I don't know why, I always seem to really enjoy photographs and scenes taken from inside cars. I know that's not to everybody's liking. Part of me would love to do like a very mundane painting series of just like what I see out the passenger seat. I think that's mainly from growing up and always going in the truck with my dad, and that was just my view for like a lot of my childhood. So I think like I've almost romanticized it in my head. Obviously that could be a very boring premise for most people. We need a tinge of blue for this. We're taking out all the yellow. I'm just going to put down a layer of blue for the wall here, and then we'll do the same with the sky. Move those leaves out of the way. Add a tinge more blue to the sky, and always bring it back a little bit with some white gouache. I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't bleed too much into the yellow. It wouldn't be too bad because obviously the further something goes into the background, the more blue it becomes. That difference in the atmosphere. Add some of that blue on here. While everything's still wet, add some of the blue to this. I probably should have done green first. That would have been a better shout. The shadows on the tops of the mountains there. And we want quite a sickly green tone for this field, and probably the best one for it will be sap green light, which is this one here. Again, while everything is still damp, we'll go lightly back and forth the tip of the brush and then just fade it up essentially. More on there. Let's go more over here, showing the tops. Those bits of the hill there, those initial bits of texture with the grass, so I'm just swiping down a little bit. Like I said, because everything's essentially going wet on wet, it will bleed. Further back, we'll go back to horizontal stripes. There is essentially a lot of dried grass in this field. There's the main bit of green there, a little bit more of this sickly green just at the top of the trees. Up the mountain it goes a little bit more muted, so something that would be better for that. Maybe a bit of normal sap green, which is on beside it here, and build that colour up like that. Also take this green, we'll just spread it down here as well. We'll cross over into sap green deep for some even darker shades. All the shadows of this piece are heavily in the left hand side, and we'll kind of use that to frame all the trees. Need some little bits of darkness in the grass. We'll just get the paint just in the tip of the brush. We'll streak it on this way. Of course, like the higher we're getting up with these shadows, we're going to have to go more blue as well, so that's something to keep in mind. And then down here we are painting in the negative space. I definitely feel like I've got the level of wetness of the paper correct. Everything's bleeding just enough. And then we'll go in with some indigo as well. Really load that brush up and then dot it in that way. We're just doing like light little, basically leaf-like strokes. So even though these are all slightly blurred, it's kind of the shape of a leaf already. A big thing to remember with some of these paints, like the one I'm using, this indigo will dry a lot brighter, so we will lose a lot of the depth. So we may have to do like few passes of the colour, keep that shadow in, bring a little bit more of this over so it's looks like the shadows. Now I'm letting the tip of this brush get a little bit splayed. It helps with that kind of like leaf pattern going on. Some brushes are better than others for doing this kind of thing, but that's why I really like this style of brush. Really handy for doing kind of like nature kind of things. Really, because like you've got a lot more control with the tip with something like this. You can load it with loads of water, it'll go for ages. You don't have to worry too much. If there's going to be a brush that you essentially cheat with, it's this. Let's go into some blue, because we're fading up a bit. I'm going to have to add a whole load of green to ground, but we're fine. We're fine. Blue to the background here as well, going up. What is the best colour for that? I'm thinking possibly the sap green deep. I'll do a thin wash of this all across the background of the mountains there. They're properly covered. This is where we'll just add a load of the shadows in this. And occasionally we'll drop in dark indigo. We'll be sparing with it. Hopefully this kind of looks like bushes and trees now. It's definitely bled though at this line. I should have been a bit more careful, but we can save that. Go into the olive green just a little bit. I don't want to go too much into like adding texture and grass this way. Just need to add a little bit of green from the top of the grass area. Brighter, get a bit dry. We'll streak that through like that. Perfect. So I'm not going to tackle this fence at all until the paper is 100% dry. So we'll go in with indigo again and start to do these shadows. Keep working along the same angles here. That depth of shadow. There's actually quite a lot of purple in here as well, which I'll have to go a bit more colour for random bits of shadow. And with that, we'll take a little break and let that dry. Like I said, everything's going to lighten up quite a bit. We're not going to worry about that too much. I know this is going to happen. You know what's happened as I let this dry? The door opened, didn't I? The cat got in, didn't he? He stepped his paw in a colour that I did not want to be part of this painting. So I'm having to blend this out now. Remember, pro tip, keep your pets out of your room. Oh, I can't believe I've done that. But the rest of this is nice and dry, so we can carry on now. So can we see where this green has bled down into here? What I'm going to do, I'm going to activate the white and just get an edge back on this essentially. The cool thing with this is trying to keep this thick enough that still have it that we can maneuver this about. This is where actual gouache comes into play. This is quite a thick watercolour. I'd almost count this almost like gouache itself, but see where it's drying in places. Let's get that bit of a thicker consistency. Obviously it'll dry down again and it will just show what's underneath, but to a lesser extent. We're just gonna get this like almost line covered over here because of the brightness. So even though I'm adding white over some of these bits, what I will be doing is adding yellow on top, because if I at least bring the brightness back white, the yellow will go over really easily. There. Okay, we've almost got like a pinkish tone that's hitting. So I'm just going to briefly touch into the rose madder and just put a glaze of colour down. Carmine, and that just warms the colour up a little bit. Rose madder in again, and we do have some plants here. I'm just going to lightly put in this pink, as we'll go over the top with gouache. We don't have the exact correct shade with some of this, just so we know where we're going. I'm going to grab a finer brush now and we'll get some of this fencing in. So this isn't the finest brush, but it does carry a lot of pigment and water. So I'm just going to be very careful. Get it too dark. I should be smart about this. Start on the bottom one. You can tell the paper is ever so slightly wet still. A little bit of a bleed going on. At the end of the world, use it to our advantage. Sometimes it can be nice when some of the colours do bleed out a little bit. So when we put the highlights on top, that's what's going to make them really, really pop. Next bit, but I have lost some of my guide colour. I have to eyeball it. And then we'll that along. I'll find bits of colour. Can I do it as a straight across? Not perfectly. Make sure my brush is loaded up enough with colour. So adding sharper shadows with this brush. And now to fix part of the sky, we can go in white again here. Let's do this with the flat brush instead. Build the clouds up this way, I think. I'm just trying to like correct that line in the background. I need to just kind of add into it like that. I think this will be the point now I switch to the gouache, so we've got a little bit more opaqueness. Okay, this is where the pop colour comes in now. Now I've got the jelly gouache paint, and this is where we're going to start bringing opacity in. I'm going to go over some of these bits that I tried to before the watercolours, but it didn't work out. Got that definition in the dry stone wall here. Why did I put my jar of water so far away? Wait, bring that closer. Now this is just the nice taking it easy bit. Basically all the colours I'm using at the moment are just pre-mixed. They are straight out of the actual pans themselves. Some are more opaque than others. I'm just going to softly layer everything. It also means I've got access to some very bright greens, which is what I needed initially for some aspects of this field. I've got to try and keep the colours as tasteful as I can. One of the things I always find with using the jelly gouache, because the paints are so bright and I don't often mix them like too much at all, any paintings that I make from them are extremely bright, really colourful, which for a certain style looks really fun and appealing, but does not feel realistic in the slightest with the lighting. What I'm going to be doing with the next sketchbook going forward, I'm rarely going to be using these paints at all. I'm going to be switching back to professional grade stuff and focusing on some more realistic tones. Like, still keep things like reasonably fun and bright, but we won't go too overboard with it. A little bit of darkness around the stones here. What we do want to focus on is bright leaves. So any patch that I see that's got a little bit of space, I'm just going to add this tone of green in first. It's more on the correct yellow side that I want. Okay, let's switch up the brush that we're using for this. I'm going to go with this medium size, not put too much water into it. It's not a very opaque colour. Let's try a bit more of a muted tone, but this might work a little bit. Annoyingly, the disgusting green is more opaque, so maybe we can kind of like mix that in with a bit more of a muted tone. But switch up the tone a little bit and get a darker colour in. It is definitely nice and opaque. We just keep going like in this leaf stroke pattern and do touch of yellow, as this is quite opaque, just makes it stand out a little bit. Minty colour as well. We're just going to dab that in. Green, start adding a bit more down here, but we won't go too crazy. So darkness to show. Probably as much texture and detail I'll put in the gouache actually. Maybe coloured pencils would be the ultimate thing for it now. We'll do it with this brush thoroughly wet. I'm going to reactivate this line here and just scrub into it just to lighten everything a little bit. Made it a little bit too dark here. Outside, this is not the right paper to be doing this with. I think this is fully dried. We have had our little coffee break and now we are at the colour pencil stage. So there's quite a lot of rust in these bits here. These being lighter, maybe middle chrome. Yeah, that'll show up quite nice. We'll just pop this down for any bits that are a bit rusty. Some of the clouds up here that need some texture. Luckily we can nicely define this easier. I had a slightly awkward moment earlier when I'm just chilling out, I'm taking a little break from things, waiting for this to dry, and there I hear a crunching from behind me, and what do I turn around to see? I see Caesar climbing my Lego set, using his claws to turn the tiles on the top of Rivendell. I keep saying to myself, oh, I definitely need to get this on a high shelf at some point. But I think I'm going to have to do that sooner rather than later. Like, to an extent, I can trust him in here now at night time, but not if he's going to go after a Lego set, especially one as delicate and as big as that. Okay, so we've got lots of grass just poking up from the top of the wall here that are going in front of the fence. So I'm just adding lots of streaks in here, build up that wall of texture. I'm hoping we get a good tape reveal. I'm a little bit scared, but at the same time, we get to see what it's like on camera. One of the tricks I usually do, if it's going to be a final piece that I'm going to sell, a little trick is using a hairdryer to heat up the tape first, because it makes the glue weaker. Because the glue's weaker, you can just pull it off really, really easily. Whereas sometimes when you pull tape off, you'll rip the paper. This is why I often use frog tape for taping down my work, as that always does like the least amount of damage, but very occasionally that still does rip. I found that frog tape keeps its seal better. So what I'm doing here, I'm adding texture for the slate. So just being sporadic, I'm not looking at the reference image for this. This has a lot of white highlights running through. I'm gonna kind of like dash bits in here and there. I'm gonna do it for the top of the gate as well. Top of the fence. Then add little bits of texture in the trees back here as well. I'll try and keep this texture to a minimum and have it just more on the lower part of the trees. So I've not sharpened my pencil. I'm keeping this as blunt as possible. Everything's just a little bit thicker. And I need to get the yellow in somewhere. I have this lemon cadmium. Quite bright, but might do. Usually for something like this I'll use a zinc yellow, as that's very opaque. That really does show through. I'm trying to use it less because I'm rinsing through it so quickly. That's one of the pencils I should have picked up. One of the issues when you have like the favourite colours, because they do a very good job with certain things. You just rinse through them. Extra here and there. Then let's sharpen this blue grey. Actually, what is this down here? Indigo. Actually, that would be perfect. So there we go. Just using this indigo, go over the extreme shadows in this wall here. This is the darkest part of the picture. Push really hard, and then we'll lighten up as we go down. So it's like more of a gradient. We have some twigs going up here. But again, this is where the acrylic ink would be better for this. And we have some like proper dark areas to go over. Just find some of the darkest bits, and that's where I'll really push in with the indigo. And we'll just keep doing this, layering it up. I'm not going to go too crazy on trying to like define all the leaves here. So I want this area to be the focus in the middle. I'm going to darken some aspects of this fence. As we've now got our grass in, we don't have to worry too much. I'm going to use some of this indigo just in the background here as well and create a gradient going up. Streak some bits here and there. Now to add some more greens. So we're going to go for some just very light pale tones, and I'm just going to run this through back and forth just to create some texture. So it's not like we're going to be working on individual blades of grass, but more just patches of different colour going on into the distance. Just subtle. But we do need to still do some of the flowers. And I know they won't show up very well. This is where the Poscas will, because the colour of these foxgloves is exactly this shade of Posca. So this way I can get a good base down colour, and then I can go over the top with some coloured pencil. I know I have a white in here somewhere. Yes, I do. Nice. I'm going to do the same with these bits. Just be easier than trying to whip out my paints again. So like these are all just little white flowers here and there. Little bits of shine as well that I'm kind of trying to dot in. I'll say this is where I love using mixed media. Sometimes it is just much quicker switching the medium. Not have to worry too much. Some sharp highlights on the top of the walls there, little bits here and there, and switch to a final one, which I think is this pencil case here. A bit more opaque, making some of these lines stand out a little bit more. I'm just going over the edges of bits here and there. This does make everything pop a little bit. Some highlights to the bit here. And we do have some bits of grass in the distance which are shining through quite a bit. Build it up like that. Some finishing touches here and there. Adding highlights. I feel like it might help the balance. I know I could probably go more detailed with the trees up here, but I don't really want to focus on them too much. Add a tiny bit of yellow here and there. We'll leave it like that. And I think this is kind of done. Now, do I do the tape peel right here, right now? Oh, what the hell, this could go badly. Shouldn't be too bad, as this is like a really cheap washi tape, so it doesn't have much stick. But you can definitely see like the bleed of the edge there. Go up on here. I mean, luckily as well, we've only got 2 more pages to do after this. Oh, there we go, we got our first rip. Oh no, more rip, more rip. Should we just go quick? Go 3, 2, 1, and pull. Oh no. Okay, time for the next side. How's this gonna go? Nope, this is already ripping. See, if I wasn't feeling so lazy, I would have got the hairdryer out. But that is too much effort. Okay, I know it was slightly missing because this is far too pink. Into just like a little bit of shading around where this would be a foxglove. Build that up a tiny bit. There we go. Then we've got some dried grass in these bits down here. A bit more like a slight orange tone. Just pull that through over here a bit. Same with the field, just add that little bit there. Honestly, if you're a bit stuck with trying to balance colour, like say for example there are little bits of orange down here, what you can do is add like that same colour in another part of the picture. And it just makes it a little bit more harmonious. Doesn't have to be accurate. You can just be having fun with it. A tiny bit of blue top there, just very lightly. What I can do though is I can highlight that line a little bit where the cloud is. It's just a little bit too prominent for my liking. So we'll just draw over the top of it. This, let's be good and date this one. What day is it today? It is the 19th of the 7th, 26. There we go, 1 more picture done, which means only 2 left to do. I say 2 left. 2 left to do. Like, I really like the way this top bit came out. I probably went a bit too heavy-handed with the detailing here, but the way this all bled up here, very, very happy. This paper doesn't always like go the way I want it to, but I think probably because the texture quality of those specific paints, they went down nicely. Yeah, this was a nice, simple sketchbook video. Hope you guys enjoyed me babbling on. Like I said, I've only got 2 more pages to go on this, and then we'll be working on the big sketchbook. Easier to switch the angle here. So yeah, once this sketchbook is done, we'll be moving on to this one. This is something I bound myself. This is completely handmade. I stained all the pages as well to try and make it look aged, and I've like dubbed this as my fantasy sketchbook. So Initially, it's got a mix of fan art in it, as you can see. But then what I'll also be doing, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I've got a 3-month plan, which I have written down what I'm doing on each one of these pages. So this is going to be my new sketchbook. There's going to be more thought process behind it. And this is where we'll be working on the world building. So like, as you can see, big chunky book, and there's like over there's over 120 pages to do. So that's going to be interesting. I've only filled out this much so far. I've still got the rest of this to do. So we've got plenty to work on. So if you like the video, please don't forget to give a like. I'm trying to make sure that I at least do a video once a week, and I'm still trying to at least stream once a week. And my focus going forward is going to be Solis and world building. So if you like storybook style illustration, please stick around because I've got some big plans up and coming. Lots of plotting to do. So hopefully see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye!